We are Prototype Thinking Labs, and we really specialize in helping companies go from the point where they have an idea and they kind of know broadly what it's supposed to do to figuring out the version of it that will truly work for users in a very short amount of time. When we talk about being in the 0 to 1 stage for a company, 0 to 1 exists for every new project we do, not just when we're launching a company. It's a point where you have a ton of possibilities. You're not sure which one you want to pick. There's many different right answers, and you're dying to work hard, but you're not quite sure what exactly the right solution is. So you can end up losing a lot of time spinning and investing your effort in the wrong direction. Prototype thinking is essentially the process for reliably getting to the right answer and crossing that every single time. So we survey every client we work with, and typically they save somewhere from 6 months to 2 years of time to market. So the first principle is that the purpose of building prototypes is not to prove or validate, it's to pivot as efficiently and effectively as we can. As founders, our goal is not to validate or disprove. Our goal is to succeed. The only way to reliably reach success is by pivoting enough that we're able to map out all possible solutions and map out and understand the solution space enough by running tests that are fast enough to give us that overall solution space big picture. This is how the prototype thinking user testing approach works. If we were to prototype our thing for the first time, what might that look like? Traditionally, in large tech companies, you mock up the whole idea and then you build this car. In Agile, you take your minimum viable engine and like hook it all up, and that's your prototype of a car. In prototype thinking, we built the minimum unviable car. I would get a bunch of really burly people. I'd put a person on a chair and a box on a big platform and a second person with a wheelbarrow to carry all their stuff. And then I'd also have me, the experimenter, off here, and I'd see them pulling the whirligigs and be like, go left. So they get the experience of navigating based on what I'm seeing them do with their whirligigs without any of it functioning. But I'm still able to test the overall experience and use case of using a car. So a pivot gets triggered when you test your biggest risks about 5 times. A typical big project needs 2 to 3 big pivots to get to the right answer. If we need 3 pivot cycles to solve the project, how long does it take to do this? You do it in a very traditional way where you build the whole thing. If you didn't get it right the first time, you just fail. In a classic lean model, 6 to 12 months in order to solve the project. If you are doing it ad hoc and just like beelining, optimizing, testing only what really matters, only your top risks, then you can do it in a few weeks. When we are testing, how do we know that we're on the right track? Our second building block principle is called finding the magic moment. And the magic moment, it's this moment when you're putting something in their hands that has the potential to make a really transformative difference to them. And you can see that their eyes light up and they're like, yes, this is something that's going to change my life. In order to evaluate a magic moment is what we call the impact value scale. And it goes like this. On a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is horrible and 10 is mind-blowing and 5 is normal, how valuable is the solution to you? What happens a lot is that we have things that come out in market that are better. A 1-point difference is like a little bit better. The tricky thing about a 2-point difference is that everybody agrees that it's obviously better, yet somehow nobody adopts it. If you get a 3-point offset between the value of your service and the status quo, that is the tipping point for behavior change, which is really interesting because it means that better is not enough. It has to be a certain qualitative amount of better. A 3-point offset is better enough to get up and change your behavior and adopt a new process for it. And then the last building block, we make our progress roadmap by confidence and by risk, not by completion. On a scale of 0 to 100%, if I were to ask you right now to take a guess about how to build a product, like if you had to build it today, how confident are you that your current best guess is the right answer? So here's the deal. There's nothing you can do to get more than 15 to 20% more confident in one step. No matter how hard you work, no matter how much you project, how much research you do, how smart you are, even how much experience you have, if you are like 5 to 10% confident about something, you don't have the context, the visibility, the perspective, or the language to build what the 90% solution is. And that's why it feels stressful, is because as high performers, we're taught never come out the gate until we can get an A. So you're sitting here holding the entire load of how do I go from 5% confident to getting an A, and it is literally impossible. That is not how data and learning work. So I want to take all of that pressure off of you and just say your only job is to get 15% more confident. So you're 5% confident about what niche you are right now. We're going to run an experiment, and this experiment is going to get you to maybe 25% confident. But from there, the universe will look different. Your questions will look different. Your perspective will look different. And you know what? Then we run an experiment to get you to 40% confident. Step by step, layer by layer, a few weeks per layer will get you there. So you'll get there. It's just you absolutely cannot see it from here. So just take the pressure off yourself to do anything that requires 90% confidence right now, because it is mechanically impossible.